The fence line at Ceuta moves on the morning of July 30th, 2026, 72,000 people in under 48 hours. And the Guardia Civil on Tarajal beach is not stopping them. The official explanation calls this a migration crisis. I want to talk about what it doesn't call it. Now here's what stands out about that morning. Not the scale of it. Though 72,000 people crossing in under 48 hours is a number that resists easy processing. What stands out is the texture of it, the organization of it. Spanish officials pointed to a recent Supreme Court ruling ending automatic returns of migrants intercepted near Ceuta as a trigger. But analysts noted that the sheer scale of the crossings suggests Morocco might have deliberately relaxed border controls. That word, relaxed, is doing a lot of work there. Relaxed implies a prior state of tension. It implies a hand on a dial. It implies someone made a choice. And here is where the pattern gets uncomfortable. This was not the first time a diplomatic dispute between Madrid and Rabat was followed by a sudden weakening of border controls. In May 2021, around 8,000 to 9,000 people, including many children, entered Ceuta after Moroccan authorities relaxed border controls. That crisis came during a dispute over Spain's decision to allow the Secretary General of the Polisario Front to receive medical treatment in a Spanish hospital. The border opened. Spain's position on the Polisario Front was the pressure point. The border then closed again. The following year, Spain abandoned its long-standing neutrality on Western Sahara by endorsing Morocco's autonomy proposal, a policy shift many attribute directly to that 2021 crisis. That's not a coincidence, or at least it shouldn't be easy to call it one. During periods of heightened migration pressure, Morocco has successfully negotiated increased financial aid and cooperation agreements from the EU in exchange for enhanced border controls. That sentence reads like a business model. Pressure goes up, money moves, pressure comes down. Repeat. The EU bilateral allocation to Morocco for the period 2021 to 2025 amounted to approximately 1.15 billion euros, according to the European Commission's own Morocco country page. And in 2025 alone, the European Investment Bank signed 740 million euros in financing in Morocco, the largest amount recorded since 2012. Now, some people look at this pattern and reach immediately for the ethnic replacement framing, the idea that there is a deliberate, ideologically driven plan to alter the demographic composition of Europe. That theory doesn't need to be true for the coordination question to be real. The structural argument doesn't require a conspiracy. It only requires revealed preferences. And the revealed preference of Rabat, across multiple administrations and multiple crises, is to hold the border as a lever. Once Europe entrusts part of its border control to another country, that country can decide how tightly to enforce the rules and when to loosen them. That's not a fringe reading. That's the architecture of the arrangement, stated plainly. The EU's own migration commissioner told a European Parliament committee, "One very important reminder from Ceuta is that to have control, we must cooperate with our neighbors. But as long as control depends on the goodwill of one neighboring state, we remain vulnerable." Vulnerable. Said out loud, in committee, on the record. The EU knows what the arrangement is. Brussels has known for years what the arrangement is, and the arrangement keeps getting more expensive. Does the timing of this crossing, arriving 2 weeks before the scheduled review of the EU-Morocco Partnership Framework's next funding cycle, feel like a coincidence to you? Tell me in the comments, because the coordination question is uncomfortable enough. The next part is where we ask who in Brussels already knew the answer and said nothing. Does the EU-Morocco arrangement read to you like a pressure valve someone keeps turning? Or do you still think the timing is just coincidence? Drop your answer in the comments below. Either way, the more uncomfortable question is who inside Brussels already had the answer, and when. Morocco's strategic value for the EU lies in its geographical position and role in migration control, counter-terrorism, and regional stability. That sentence appears in a European Policy Center analysis of the EU-Morocco partnership. It reads like a compliment. I want you to read it as a description of leverage, because what it actually says is that Rabat holds something Brussels needs, and Brussels has been paying for it, consistently, on an escalating schedule. In 2025, the European Investment Bank signed 740 million euros in financing in Morocco, the largest amount recorded since 2012. The border, at the time of that signing, was not closed. It was managed. There is a difference. A closed border is a resolved problem. A managed border is a renewable contract. As of mid-2026, the EU has committed to deepening that partnership further. The EIB plans to scale up its support for structural investments in Morocco in 2026, prioritizing infrastructure modernization, improved water access, energy transition, and stronger backing for the private sector. The border at Ceuta is still not closed. The framework keeps expanding. The money keeps moving. Cooperation between the EU and Morocco rests on asymmetric foundations. The EU's influence stems less from formal mechanisms than from its economic weight and normative agenda, while Morocco's strategic value lies in its geographical position and role in migration control. That asymmetry is the architecture of the arrangement. It doesn't require a room where this was planned. It only requires that every party with decision-making power over the Ceuta border benefits from the current state of affairs continuing, and that when you map those parties, the map is uncomfortably complete. Rabat gains leverage over Western Sahara recognition and EU market access every time the border becomes a headline. The EU migration management bureaucracy gains budget justification. Frontex has been actively procuring counter-drone and border surveillance technologies, running a prize contest specifically to develop innovative solutions for unauthorized activities at the EU's external borders. The defense and surveillance contractors supplying that infrastructure gain long-term procurement contracts that grow in value precisely as the border remains technically unsolved. The strategic pattern is clear. Surveillance systems are expanding from targeted tools into interconnected infrastructures. Each crisis cycle justifies the next equipment round. When you ask who benefits from permanent border instability, the answer is not no one. The answer is a specific, nameable list of institutional actors, and none of them are the people standing on the beach at Tarajal. Which brings us back to that image. The fence line on the morning of July 30th. The Guardia Civil not moving. The official explanation calling it a crisis. A crisis, by definition, is something that wasn't supposed to happen, something that caught the system unprepared. But the system at Ceuta is not unprepared. It is expensively, elaborately, continuously funded. The stand-down wasn't a failure of the policy. The stand-down was the policy made visible for 48 hours. The civilizations that forgot to ask who benefits from their own undoing, those are the ones we study in ruins. Subscribe if that question bothers you as much as it bothers me.